được biết là Singapore là một trong những quốc gia mà có nền công nghệ thông tin phát triển tại châu Á. Cùng với đấy là đứng trước rất nhiều rủi ro, thì xin ông hãy chia sẻ thực trạng mà bảo an toàn thông tin tại Singapore.
Well, first of all, thank you for the time. I assume you are asking me. Singapore has done many cybersecurity in the past. Some of them are quite successful. And you asked if I could share some of them. Yeah, sure. So Singapore has implemented many cybersecurity programs to protect Singapore as a small nation state for many years now. There are a few things that we've shared with the ASEAN region, including things such as our cybersecurity protection framework, how we institute the legal and the skill and manpower process to ensure that the people have enough awareness and enough capacity to do the cybersecurity. This has been translated into many of the programs. I can quote 2 or 3 of the examples. One example is that we've actually instituted a cybersecurity training program in a local polytechnic and university. This will allow Singapore to produce a small pool of cybersecurity professionals within the country. At the national level, we also have instituted a cybersecurity law and agency. This is to make sure that the government has a sufficient control framework to the national critical infocom infrastructure. I can see that Vietnam is also trying to do the same thing. And this is perhaps at a slightly more infancy stage. And maybe Singapore could share some of the pitfalls, some of the experiences with Vietnam going forward.
Theo ông thì Việt Nam có thể thực hiện cái gì ở bảo mật thông tin Singapore?
Okay, I think some of the things Vietnam and Singapore could work together closer is through multiple levels. One of them is from government to government, and the other one is from business to business. I think between the two governments, there's a very so-called ongoing bilateral meeting between the officials. These official meetings are useful to making sure that both countries had a similar level of understanding of the terminology and the need for each country. There are a few things I believe they are ongoing that has happened for a number of years now. One of them, there is actually a ASEAN community that the 10 head of state on cybersecurity are working together. Example, on communication, on finance, on military, there is actually a ASEAN community where we sit together to exchange and share experiences. One of the things I believe Vietnam and ASEAN could be working closer is actually technology exchange platform. There are some businesses that's happening now between Vietnam and Singapore. Some of these businesses perhaps could use cybersecurity as a base, like using Vietnam as a development center for some of the product that Singapore may be considering to build, because Vietnam has a larger pool of developers as compared to Singapore.
Trong trường hợp xảy ra những cái cuộc tấn công mạng nhằm vào dữ liệu người dùng, thì theo ông nên có bộ khung pháp lý nào để đảm bảo tính minh bạch khi công bố vụ việc, cũng như là đảm bảo quyền riêng tư cho cái dữ liệu người dùng?
You asked me whether or not citizen or end user have a greater degree of transparency when cybersecurity happens to them. Answer is absolutely. Citizen is the most important asset to the country. I think the citizen right in knowing what is going on is important. Case in place, if there's a data leak, if there's a data privacy issue that's been detected by either the government or private agency, I think the citizen have the right to know as quickly as possible that my data has been compromised in the network or in the system. That, however, is not so straightforward. First, whether or not who has detected such a leak. Next, whether or not there is an official framework to verify that there is indeed. So that actually required the relevant ministry to work on a framework to say that how can the people affected be informed as quickly as possible. I think that is yet to be seen. I don't think so. I've seen a good framework here. In Singapore, that has become a law. The Data Privacy Commission has built up such a framework. And I suspect maybe Vietnam will have a similar Data Privacy Commission that will be setting up in due course.